Hey guys, Lou here from LT's Custom Woodworks. Welcome to the shop. Another day, another dollar. Today I'm starting on a shelving unit for a RV, and I'm going to be making this out of 3/4 inch Baltic birch plywood. Now the height of this unit is going to be 35 3/4 in height, 44 in length, and 8.5 inches deep. Now it's going to be a top shelf, a middle, and a bottom. It's pretty simple. The legs are also going to be made out of plywood. And the first thing I'm going to start doing is setting up my table saw, and I'm going to start ripping the top. And I always start with the top shelf, and then I'll figure out where my legs are, and then I'll start cutting for my bottom shelves as I go down. So I'm going to get that set up right now and start cutting those pieces. I'm going to get this set up to 8.5 inches. And this is going to be the top shelf. Now since I got this piece that's left over, I'm going to cut this up for the legs. And I'm going to make these, the legs I'm going to do 2 inches. Or I can go 2.5, but I think I'm going to go, I'll cut them to 2.5 inches. I do got to cut the other shelves, but I'm going to cut this at 2.5 inches. I can always cut them down later, so it's easy peasy that way. So I'm going to cut, it's 2 pieces for each leg, so I need 2, 4, 6, 8 pieces. Now obviously I can't get 8 of this, but it's a leftover piece, I might as well chop it up now since I'm here. Makes life a lot easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 3 pieces at 44 inches in length. So now I'm going to start cutting the legs for the height of the unit. Now, what I did here is I wrapped tape. My blade is a little bit dull and I should be changing it, but I can get away with a few cuts right now by wrapping tape so I don't get chip out. That's the reason why I'm putting tape on where the cut is, and when I do that, there is literally no chip out. It looks really good. I'll have to change it at the end of the day, or tomorrow I'll have to grab another blade and get this one sharpened. In the meantime, I'm going to cut 8 legs at... the height of it is 35.5. Because the top is 3/4 of an inch, I'm going to be cutting it at 35 inches even. Okay, so on the top shelf, they want the corners to be rounded. So I'm just going to grab I'll find something that I can trace a circle on, and I'll guesstimate what's going to look best. Now I can use something like this jar. To me, that doesn't look too bad. I don't think they want to go much more than that. You can pretty much use anything you want to use to round off the corners. To me, I think that looks okay. Now I will cut this out with a jigsaw, sand it down, and bingo, bango, Bob's your uncle, Christine's your aunt, and Bill's your sister. So I'm going to cut on the outside of the line. And like I said, I'll take a sander to it. So I'm going to make a cut on each of these legs. I'm going to do a 45 so I can glue them and pin them together. So I'm going to set my blade to a 45-degree angle. Lock it in place. Then I'm going to find that sweet spot. Then I'll take my file and I'll slice into it. And just cut away at the excess with the edge of the file. So I'm using this edge to cut away at it. And only in a down position, not in an up. Once you've established that on both sides, then you take your sandpaper. It doesn't matter what you use, whether it's 40 grit, 80 grit, 60 grit, it doesn't matter. As long as you file down those edges, that's all that matters. Okay, so I'm going to run a bead of glue all the way down. Now, I'm going to make sure I get full coverage. So I'll spread it out with my finger. And I'll just clean up the squeeze out after everything's in place. I'll do the same thing to both sides. Okay, so I'm going to drill some pocket holes, and that's what I'm going to attach this with. We'll do the same thing to this side. Now I'm going to find out which one do I want, what side do I want facing up. I'm going to say this side. I like this side better than this. So I'm going to put the legs on in this direction. In place. Now we got 2 more legs to do, 1 on each side, and we are cooking with bacon bits at this point. So I'm going to flip this around, do the other 2 legs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue and pin these on both sides. And I will use 1.25 inch, I think they're 1 inch nails or 1.25 inch pins. So, I'm going to get started on running a bead of glue down the center. Shelf in the middle, shelf on the bottom, and she is ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to rip these because these are going to be a different size now. So I got to trim it off a bit, throw one in the middle, and the bottom I'm going to pick it up about 2 inches, leave it 2 inches off the ground, and then there's going to be a piece that's going to sit in the front here, and you'll see once we get to that point. I am going to cut these to length first, which is going to be, actually I can cut both of them to this side, which is 40.25. Now that I have these inserts in place, I'm going to cut a 2.5 inch piece that's going to sit on the bottom and the top, and I'll do that on both sides. That way it gives it like a shaker style look. And then I have a shelf, 2 shelves here that's going to sit, one in the middle and one on the bottom, but on the bottom one it's going to be 2 inches off the bottom. So I'm going to start by putting these pieces in first, and then I'll work on the shelves. Pieces are in on each side. I'm going to start with the bottom now, and I'm going to go 2 inches up, and I'm going to mark it on both sides. And that's where my bottom shelf is going to go. I'll put the bottom shelf in first. And I will clamp this and use it as a stop at where the 2 inches need to be. I will switch around to the other side, do the same thing to that side. Okay, now that the shelves are in place, I'm going to cut 2 pieces for the top and bottom, and it's going to have a strip that's going to secure in the front. Actually, I didn't have to edge band these because there's a piece going over top. And it's going to stick up 3/8 of an inch, and that just stops things from falling out. And he's also going to have a covering over top so nothing falls out as he's driving. So I'm going to cut some pieces, 2 strips. We're going to start with the length first, and it's going to be 38 inches long. Okay, there's been a slight change. I was going to put a brace on the back side so they have somewhere to mount it to the wall. But where this is going, it's from wall to wall in the RV. So when they screw it in, they can screw it in from the inside here. And that will catch both corners. Should be no problem at all whatsoever. So we're just going to put the pieces on the bottom and top here, and we are good to go. That is what I call bingo, bango, chicho, chachi. We are banging on all cylinders today. And that is looking good. It's got a bit of a lip. Nothing can fall over. And this is ready for stain. She is as good as gold. Okay, so the color that was chosen was Mission Oak. That's the color the customer had chosen. And this is in the Minwax Poly Shades. This is actually, this is extra thick, this stuff. This, Okay, so I sprayed my sand and sealer on. I put a generous coat on. Now I'm going to just sand it down with a 220 grit sandpaper and blow all the dust off. And then I'm going to apply 3 coats of pre-cat lacquer. And I'm going to do that every 15 minutes. I'll spray a coat of lacquer on. And that should wrap this one all up. This is got 3 coats of pre-cat lacquer, and it is finished, complete. Customer's picking it up today, and that is it. On to the next project. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.